I've heard the budget for this was $200 million. That Apple gave Matthew Vaughn $200 million for Argylle. I don't know how to say this name. That's kind of like spending $100 on a McDonald's cheeseburger. And the people at McDonald's are like, wait, he doesn't want his change? Okay. Like, what the hell? This is what happens when rich people have no perception of money and they just throw it at things. You know, you get this. This is Argylle. It's not spelled. Um, anyway, this is directed by Matthew Vaughn. And before I go any further, click subscribe. Anyway, Bryce Dallas Howard stars in this, along with Sam Rockwell, Henry Cavill. Oh God. Catherine Zeta-Jones, Bryan Cranston, Samuel L. Jackson, Sophia Boutella. God, who else is in this? Ariana DeBose. I'm gonna forget somebody. This is just. There's where your $200 million went, in case you were wondering. It's just on this cast. Dua Lipa. Um, yeah, that's enough. If I haven't enticed you with someone so far, then you don't want to see this. It is directed by Matthew Vaughn, not written by Matthew Vaughn, but it's directed by Matthew Vaughn. And sure, he's had some hits and he's had some success stories. They've been adaptations of things, properties, comic books, mostly, that have been his successes. And then his other things have been the things that led him to those were films where he was challenged with a budget to make a solid film off of little to no money. Giving him $200 million for this was an absolute mistake. This is like a $25 million movie. He doesn't even have cast members that deserve to be paid that much money. There's no one in here that's a $20 million actor. So there's no one in here that's absorbing this money really fast. I don't know what he spent this money on. I don't know how he blew this money that quickly. I don't even know how you do this as $100 million movie. There are some action. There are a lot of action sequences in this, but not consistent. Not like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, where that dude's constantly running 24/7. He barely stops. He stops for 2 seconds just so he can listen to one of those damn tapes before it catches on fire. And then he just starts running again. Like, if Tom Cruise can make a movie on one of those, but on a budget for a Mission Impossible film, or John Wick, whatever the budgets were for those, this should have been underneath that, for sure. This has far less action than that. It's about an author who, by the way, spoilers, because nobody knows what this film is fucking about. And if you listen to other people, they're like, oh, well, I don't want to tell you this because there are lots of twists and turns. Look, I'm not going to tell you every damn twist and turn in this film, but I'm going to tell you what the damn movie's about. So you actually know, in case you are wondering. So there's an author, Bryce Dallas Howard, who is a famed novelist who's been writing this book series with this spy character, Argylle, played by Henry Cavill. And people are looking for, what's going to happen in the next book. And she's been working on this book. She lives alone with a cat. She's does this first interview and a guy asks her out and she's like, oh, I got a hot date. She goes home, she's holding a cat, and she's like, got a hot date with my cat. I'm like, oh God, of course you do. Anyway, Yeah, so that's the kind of character we're writing for Bryce Dallas Howard, and her mother has read the next book and doesn't like the ending and is telling her, "Oh, you have to change it needs an actual ending. You can't leave." And she's like, "It's a cliffhanger. It's that's the way it's supposed." No, it's you need an ending to this thing. So, um, so she has to go try to figure out how to end the book, and then sort of her life gets turned upside down. There's a suggestion, sort of like in the Q&A session she does at the top, like, like, are you how do you write this stuff so well? Are you a spy? So that's, I think, what the film is trying to play with, the idea of, is she a spy for the rest of the film, like trying to lead you on with that, or show you, like, maybe, like, what would an author who writes spy novels, how would they do if they were put in a real situation. She sort of gets sucked into a situation that leaves you with this, like, constant question of the fuck is going on. um and it starts kind of when Sam Rockwell shows up. He's probably the number two here. I know people are looking for Henry Cavill. Some people have really downplayed the amount of time that Henry Cavill's in the film. He's not a lead, but he's also not in this film for like 2 minutes. So he's definitely not the lead, though. If you're going into this thinking it's a Henry Cavill film, you will be disappointed. That's a valid complaint. If you Then again, I don't think he has that many fans, because if he did, he'd still be Superman. Hot take um, on that. Uh, yeah, so this cast is broad. It's really expansive. It's fun. Um, Bryce actually probably does the best job. Sam is just being Sam Rockwell. He's doing kind of like, it's funny because it feels so like a Sam Rockwell performance. Um, Sort of like how sometimes Owen Wilson gets in something and you're just like, man, this is like an Owen Wilson to the max. Like, this is just Owen being Owen, but like even more so. I felt like this was Sam Rockwell, like written for Sam Rockwell, like in the script. Like they knew that Sam Rockwell was going to play this, and they wrote it for him. It's I couldn't see another actor in this role. Whereas in any other role, I could see another actor playing any of these roles, but I couldn't see it. It feels like it's so written for Sam Rockwell. He really just, either that or else he just really made this role his own. Um, there are mannerisms and stuff that feel very much like everything that we've come to learn and love about Sam over the years. So he comes out looking really good because it really feels like it's him. It really feels almost like he could have been Sam Rockwell, the actor, in this. And he gets roped in too, somehow. But yeah, they just kind of go off on this journey. There's a plot, and she's just along for the ride. And is it mistaken identity? Is she a spy? Is she not a spy? How good is the knowledge that she's accumulated? She says it's just really good research. A lot of do research, and it's like, well, okay, now you're in a real spy situation. What would you do? You know, um, that's supposed to be the appeal of the film. It's really long. This movie's like 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it felt like 4 hours and 80 minutes. I don't, I don't know. I just, every time this film kept going, I was like, where are we going? Like, it just feels like it just keeps going, but it doesn't really have like a plot. I don't even know, like, I didn't even feel like act shifts. Like when you're watching a film, you're like, okay, I'm in the second act of the film. Okay, I'm in the third act of the film. It just kind of felt like it was just going. Like we just kept moving forward, and I was like, is this film ever gonna end? Like, is this do we when does this film end? Um this is one of the worst things Matthew this is easily the worst thing Matthew Vaughn has ever done. Um he's probably he's probably done things in the toilet that are better than this. I'm just honestly, this feels like he got no feedback. This feels like nobody watched the film and Apple just released it, and they were just like, yeah, great, send it on out. Like, he didn't have a single screening. I don't think anybody watched this. I don't think anybody tested this. I don't think nothing happened. They just sent this out to the world. Um, it's pretty bad. Uh, but the performances are engaging. Oh, John Cena's in this too. God, like everybody in the world is in this. I will say I enjoyed the performances. Some people are not utilized enough. That's why, like I said, I forgot John Cena was in this. Um, or appropriately, because there's so many damn people in this film that you just kind of run through them really quickly. Um, so it is a lot of Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell, and then not so much of everybody else I've already mentioned. But luckily, Bryce is really engaging here. Um, I would have much rather seen a film tailored to her. I think there's a concept here that works, and I think Matthew Vaughn just didn't know what that concept was, and he went in a different direction with it. And he was so interested in trying to come up with so many twists and turns, like you might find in a spy novel, like with people being like, "Oh, are you on the right side, or are you on the wrong side, or is this person who they really say they are, or are they not? You know, like, what's the truth here? You know?" He's playing with all of these weird spy quirks, and it just gets jumbled and lost, and it ends up uh, just not really representing the film in any sort of positive light. Um, but I think if he had just stuck to his guns with, there's a writer being pulled into the world that she supposedly, after she says research, 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 great. Now apply that research to an actual spy situation. Don't play around with this idea of, is she a spy? Is she not a spy? And like, what is this reality? Is this not it also kind of plays around with that, like, what's really happening, almost like she's having some sort of like psychotic break at times. It feels very weird. And she takes her damn cat everywhere. There's certain things in here that just don't work. And I just don't think Matthew Vaughn showed this to anybody. I would love to come in here and say, yeah, this was a great film. Actually, I was really encouraged because I like Matthew Vaughn as a director. And I did see like one or two people who were like, I liked this. I know there's an army of people who didn't like it, but I like this. And I was like, well, I hope to be one of those people because I like Matthew Vaughn, and this cast is fire. This is a great cast. There isn't anybody in here who I'm like, oh, I don't like you. Get out of this film. I like this cast. I want to root for this cast. This just isn't a good film. It's way too long. It wanders. It has no real concept of what it wants to be other than confusing. That's all it wants to do, is just be like, ooh, is this real or not? What's the trick here? Ooh, can you believe what you see, or is the truth out there? I don't know. It's, after a while, it's just like, damn, man, come on. That's not the whole that's not supposed to be the whole film. Anyway. Um, audio description. It's Tansy Alexander, done by uh, yeah. I wanted to say Point 360, but it's not that. It's another company. Anyway, it's not Deluxe either. So shout out to Tansy and the company whose name I forgot. And they do a lot of description. But I didn't have a problem with the audio description. I think the audio description here is fine. If anything, kudos to them for trying to make this film coherent. There are times in which certain characters are shown as one person or maybe another, where she starts to kind of see, because we see a little bit of the characters that are in her book series, as if it's like the book series was adapted into a film. So that's why like Henry Cavill is here. So like you see Henry Cavill sort of in both situations. Like, she sort of imagines him. That's what I'm saying. When I'm talking about, like, it plays with, like, is she having a mental breakdown or not? There are times where it suggests that she's seeing it in, like, the real world. And certain, like, she's imagining, she's like, what would my spy hero do? And I, I don't know. It's just, anyway, um, the film does a really good job of following what seems to be just utter madness in this script. Um, please stop giving $200 million to anybody who asks for it at Apple. Um, just, you could make better movies by actually getting talented directors and saying, here's 50. You know, Alex Garland didn't have that much money for Civil War. And when he was given the money by A24 to make Civil War, he was challenged with it, and he made a film that ended up being way better than Argylle with less money. Um, and it's going to end up doing more money at the box office. It'll end up getting more critical praise. And A24 didn't break the bank on it. You know, Matthew Vaughn probably would have made a better movie if he had been given less money, to be totally honest. And he also would have made a better movie if somebody had watched it before they put it out. I find it really hard to believe that this film was tested, that test audiences saw this and they were like, yes, A+, send this on through. You know, either that or else it tested poorly and Matthew Vaughn was like, I am not editing this film. Test audiences are dumb. Well, now you're here. Check out that Metacritic score that you got. It's a fun one. Anyway, so yeah, this film is not great. I did like the actors. That's the benefit of hiring these talented actors, is that they generally deliver talented performances. Matthew Vaughn is a good enough director that he does find moments in this film that keep this from being just absolute dog shit. So I would not recommend this film on any level. I think the audio description is solid. So I'm gonna give Argylle a C minus. I wouldn't bother. It's way too long. Good Lord. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.